had your identity stolen at least once in your life? One person. Okay, you are like 50 people here. Well, imagine that at least 5 of you had your identity stolen at least once in your life, and you don't even know that. And it takes around 6 months and between 100 and 200 hours to recover that data if you will ever find out that someone stole your data. How many of you have children? Okay, like 10? Okay, 10. Okay, imagine that 7 out of these 10 children have encountered online pornography accidentally online while doing their homework, right? So it's a pretty important problem to tackle, I'd say. And today, we will explore together the world of identities, whether this data should be in our ownership or not, whether online verification should happen or not. I know it's a pretty controversial topic, but I truly believe that only together we can build solutions which are, at least to some extent, to the benefit of everyone. So today we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna talk about some hard stuff. We're gonna laugh a bit, and hopefully we're gonna learn something from each other by the end of this talk. Before I start, some bits about myself. I am Anna, the co-founder of Audi.io, a fully private identity verification solution. I'm gonna talk about it later. I was a professional handball player for more than 5 years. I hope to retire on an island and write poetry books. And as it's quite famous to share our favorite quotes, mine is from Marcus Aurelius, and he said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be, just be one." This being said, this is how I want to value your time today. I'm going to talk about perspectives on identities, so what people think and feel about it, how big the identity problem is, and if it is a problem, and how the future can look like, or at least one of the ways in which the future can look like. So, perspectives on identities. I'm sure that in order to access a product or service online, you uploaded your private identity documents for so many times, so you know how big the pain is, right? And when we talk about identity verification in general, people are kind of split in 2 main categories. There is nothing in between. So we have the strong haters. If hell exists on earth, is working doing KYC. And kill your customers with paperwork, or in 2023, digital work. And then we have the strong lovers, the people who are so happy to verify their identity, either because they are afraid of the Nigerian prince who can steal their data, or because they trust the application which verify their users more because they feel safer while using their product or service. But at the end of the day, is the identity problem such a big problem to tackle that needs our attention? Because not so many people love Monday mornings, but I haven't seen anyone trying to resolve this issue. So, is trying to verify everyone online really necessary? Because it is such a pain, both for us, the users, and for the projects, especially as regards the costs and data liabilities. So, as data speaks louder than beliefs sometimes, here are some numbers which will help us decide if this is a big enough problem to tackle. Some 10 to 15% of all social media accounts are bots or fake accounts. And I'm talking about Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, soon LinkedIn, and let's not even talk about Telegram and Discord, where the percentage is even higher. Then we have online harassment. 41% of American adults have personally experienced online harassment at least once in their life, and 25% of them experience more severe harassment. Because why would an attacker care about that? They can always create more accounts, right? So it can happen to you, it can happen to your family, it can happen to your kids. Then restricted content for kids. As I told you, 70% of kids ages 8-18 have accidentally encountered online pornography just while searching an innocent item while doing their homework. And 30% of kids, American children, ages 12-18, have lied about their age in order to access the content of a website. And then we have the scams. We are so familiar with scams, especially in Web3, where 1 in 10 adults, American adults, will fall victim of a scam or fraud every single year. And then we have 1.3 million American kids have their identity stolen every single year. 1.3 million children. So I say it's a pretty big problem, right? And even though we know this problem exists, people are still very reluctant to verify their identities. And the regulations are coming, and because of that, you will have to verify who you are way more often than now, almost for every single product or service you want to access online. One of my friends wanted to buy a PlayStation 5, actually he bought it in January this year, in Switzerland. And because of the fact that the PlayStation 5 came with a game which was 18+, he had to send a photo of his ID card over email to the company, so a random employee can check who he is and eventually send the PlayStation 5. It's quite privacy intrusive, I'd say. So we know the problem. We are very reluctant to verify our identity. But after I spent more than 1 year in the identity space, and I talked with hundreds of people, and I heard their thoughts, I heard their fears, I heard their concerns, I heard their feelings. To be fair, it makes a lot of sense to be reluctant, because we are afraid. We don't know what's happening with our data. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. And even if the company comes and say, oh yeah, well, we are fully private, we are secure, we take care of our data, can you trust it really? Like, everyone knows what happened with the Equifax hack, right? Or how other companies sold our data for money. So can we really trust the ones who say they will take care of who we are and of our personal identifiable information? It's quite difficult, right? And I was curious to discover even more. I had 2 hypotheses. I was thinking that, what if people just don't want to verify who they are online? They just don't want to, they are against it, they hate it, they don't want to hear about that. They think that Web3 can be a safer place by using something else, not online identity verification. And the second hypothesis was the fact that people are still looking for a better solution. People are still looking for better ways in which they can provide their personal information without that information being stored anywhere or being abused. So what I did, I conducted a very short research at Denver a few weeks ago. And because we work with government-issued documents at Audit, I was more curious to discover what they think about passport information. And 90% of the people who fill this form, they didn't know about Audit, so they weren't biased. They weren't our friends. So I asked, hey, would you be concerned to give your passport information to a company? Yeah, of course. Of course I'm going to be very concerned. Makes sense, right? And then, but what if I give you more details on how your passport information will be used and stored? Will you still be that concerned? Oh, yes, of course, right? A bit less concerned now that I know what's happening, but still concerned. Why? Because it's hard to trust. And then I asked what people think that it is important for them. And by the way, the first 3 questions are actually features of our app. So I was curious if what we're building is actually useful for people. And I asked them, hey, how important it is for you that nobody can access your data? Nobody. And you're the only one who has access to that data. And as you can see, very important. And then I asked, what if your data is not stored anywhere? On any random server, any database? It's just maybe locally stored in your phone, right? How important is that for you? Kind of important, the fact that it's not stored anywhere. But how important it is the fact that you share whatever you want to share about yourself? Essential, right? I'm looking at the 3rd question, and now on the 4th. How important it is for you that there are fewer bots, scammers, and hackers in the Web3 space? Very important, right? The people in blue, those 2 people who said it's not important at all, I still don't understand why. But I mean, we're quite complex as human beings, so the answers are quite unexpected from time to time. We're unpredictable. So as you can see, All these things are very important to people. And then I asked, hey, if a product meets all the requirements you just said they are super important, would you use a solution which verify your identity? And 70% of them said yes, 15% of them said no, and it's normal. No matter how good the solution will be, some people will always be against it, and it's normal, right? Like, I see you, I hear you, I know it's scary to give your passport information to someone, it's normal, right? And because of these people who said no, no matter what, this is how we actually improve all the identity verification solutions even more, because they have very valid concerns and very valid fears. So they actually help us the most to understand how to build something that's better for everyone. And then the rest of 15% said, well, depends. It depends on what benefits I have. It depends if it's mandatory. It depends. But overall, between 70 and 85% of people said, I might use such a solution if you take care of that. And now, why this presentation is important for you is mostly because in the future, you're going to have to verify who you are in a way or another. And hopefully, the projects will give you the opportunity to choose what solution you want to use, depending on the value proposition you believe in. And one of the ways we think the future will look like is by using zero-knowledge proofs. How many of you heard about zero-knowledge proofs and know how they work? Amazing. OK, that's amazing. For the few of you who didn't, I have just a small slide of theory. So more specifically on how zero-knowledge proofs apply on the identity space. So before that, how many of you have a door to their bathroom? The ones who didn't raise your hands, really? OK, so most of us have a door to our bathroom, right? Why? Because consent is important. Because I want to share with you only what I want, right? And this is how we can use zero-knowledge proofs over our personal information, over the passport information. I can choose to share with you only the fact that I'm over 18, only the fact that I'm Romanian, only the fact that I'm female, and so on. And that's it, nothing more. Then we have decentralized and trustless verification. Why? Because by using zero-knowledge proofs, a valid result happens only when I have a valid identity document, which is mine, right? So I can prove to you that I'm over 18 only if I have a passport, for example, which is mine, and says the fact that I'm over 18. So there is no need to trust a third party to say that I'm over 18 when I can create those proofs directly on my data. And then private composability of identities. Let's say I want to prove to you that I have more than $10 in my bank account, but I don't want to give you anything else. So I can prove to you that I have a name, which is on my passport, and that name matches the name on my bank account, and that bank account has more than $10 in it. Right? So this is how I can prove to you that I have more money, more than $10, without giving you without telling you what document I used, what personal document I used, without telling you what bank I used, and without telling you the exact amount I have in my bank account, only the fact that I have more than $10. Isn't it beautiful? Right. So this is how Audit.io came to life more than 1 year ago. When me, together with my co-founders, Vezin, we talked with many people. We didn't know what to build, but we wanted to see what we can help in the Web3 space. Because we wanted to create something that's more like a painkiller that really, really resolves a need more than adding value. So when we started Audit, we thought it's going to take like 3 weeks to build the app. It took like 10 months. And here we are right now starting private pilots with the projects which are interested in using our filters. And I'm going to give you a very short demo. And why it's important for you to understand how Audit works is because, again, in the future, you're going to have the opportunity to choose how to verify your identity. How audit works by using zero-knowledge proofs is just one way. There are many other ways which can be used. And in order for you to be aware of how your data is stored and used and sent and accessed, you have to understand the core functionality of the solution itself. So basically, how audit works is quite simple on the surface. You just need a phone. You just turn the NFC function of your phone. You tap the passport. You count to 3. And then you have the information in your phone, locally stored in your phone. If I click on my profile, I can see everything I have in my passport. My photo, my name, my date of birth, citizenship, etc. And then I can click on prove my identity, and I can prove something about myself, my age, my citizenship, or proof of personhood, the fact that I'm a unique human being. Let's say I want to prove to you that I'm Romanian. I want to prove this to you. Plus, let's say I also want to prove that I'm over 18, and the third thing, the fact that I'm a unique human being so I can vote for your DAO. I generate a proof. Now this proof takes around 1 minute to be generated. And in order to give you a reference, a few months ago it used to take 10 minutes. 2 weeks ago it used to take 3 minutes. Now it takes 1 minute. In 2 weeks, hopefully, it might take 30 seconds. And because zero-knowledge proofs don't work very well with phones, almost not at all, and they don't work very well with government-issued documents, almost not at all. The app used to have 2 gigabytes a few months ago. Now it has 250 megabytes. And hopefully, with many good thoughts and prayers, it might have 50 megabytes in the next months. So the proof is generated, the proof is complete. So now I can send to a project, to a DAO, that I'm over 18, I'm Romanian, and I'm a unique human being, so I can vote, for example, and I'm not a bot. So this is how it works. At the beginning, it takes 1 minute, but then if you want to store the data in your phone, it's going to be just 1 click away to demonstrate something about yourself. Very important, the data is locally stored in your phone. Neither the DAO can see who you are, nor us as audit. Everything is locally stored in your phone, so no personal information will leave your device, and nothing is going to be stored on a random public ledger somewhere, right? What leaves your phone is the proof itself, but the proof doesn't contain personal information. It just proves things about yourself, just the fact that you're over 18, but not even the date of birth, right? And no third party involved. You're the one creating those proofs directly on your data, because in the way we extract the data from your passport, you can't fake it. You can't fake the data. So every single proof you want to create on top of that data is undeniably true. Okay, so now at the end, there are many people building and innovating in the identity space. And it is your responsibility to understand at least some of your favorites, how they work, so it's going to be easier for you to decide how you want to share your data and with whom and when and where, right? And to conclude this presentation, yes, our identity is a private good. Our identity is not a public good. And only with your patience and constant feedback, we can create solutions which are actually to the benefit of everyone. Because we can't jump from not verifying anyone to verifying everyone in a fully private, decentralized, free-range, organic bio way, right? We have to take it step by step, and it's going to be a bit decentralized at the beginning. It might crash at the beginning. It might be buggy and so on. But only step by step, slowly but surely, we can achieve that goal. Because otherwise, it will crash. And otherwise, people will not trust Web3 as a safe place they can join and they can perform activities, right? How can we onboard the next billion people if the space itself is not safe? And only if people who are at least techie can understand how to navigate this world, right? So I am here, my co-founder is here. If you want to talk more about the identity space, if you have questions, if you have concerns, we are very happy to hear them. We are building this for you, right? So we want to know what you think and how you feel towards that. And that was it. Again, I am Anna. If you want to talk with me more, I am on Twitter. This is my email address. And that was it. Thank you for listening, and I hope we learned something from each other today.